All right, so here we are closing day number 10, which was a bit unexpected. I was planning to originally yesterday that I'd probably have to take the day off today. However, I did have a window in the morning. I knew that I wouldn't be able to trade regular market hours. So last night I put my alarm back by 2 hours and woke up early to see if I could find anything pre-market that I might be able to trade safely. And I did end up finding something, and as a result, after one trade, I'm closing with a net P&L of $30.45, which is a net ROE gain of 1.23%. So the trade I took was a scalp looking for a pre-market high test on ASM, which is a mining company with no news and no short float, but it was on a lot of people's radar, which I believe was connected to some interest from Wall Street Bets, but that wasn't really on my mind. This was mainly a technical thing going in. And this is roughly what I was looking at when I was planning this trade. I saw a little base here around 270, and then I thought that this might be the spot where we curled back up. So I was looking initially for just a very quick scalp, maybe 10 cents or something, risking low. And I almost pulled the trigger right here. If you look up on the 1 minute here, once the top of the candle got broken, I thought about an entry. And when I saw it happen, the break of $3 was very weak. As you can see, it immediately reversed and went back down into the 80s. So I figured, okay, let's just wait a bit. Let's use the 5 minute candle as my entry trigger, which was this one right here with the top being 301. So I waited a little bit longer, and the spot I eventually found for the entry, once this little flat top at 295 broke, was right here on this candle. And you can see the volume is definitely a lot more significant on this candle, which was part of the reason that it triggered the entry. And what was nice about this trade is that my stop was apparently very well placed. I had it at 295 to start the trade, so I'm risking 10 cents. And you'll see that after breaking and going up to 310, there was a retest here at 295. Went back up, just barely broke 310, and then came back and tested 295 again. So I thought, okay, my stop was pretty well placed. I like what I'm seeing so far. And I started thinking about adding. I didn't end up doing that, and I won't go into why I didn't do that. But in any case, there was a little pop here, and on this pop, I felt really good because there was the trigger for it was a big bid that came in for about 250,000 shares at $3 initially. And then on this candle here, as we broke through 305, that bid moved up to 305. And then when we broke 310, the bid moved up to 310. And the whole while, I'm moving my stop up. I mean, almost immediately after this ramp right here, I moved my stop up to $3 even. So I'm only risking about 5 cents on this trade now. And that's when I started thinking, okay, maybe I should add above the next resistance level. And I ended up not doing that because the price action was not very good. I sold right here, as you can see, towards the top. Throughout this portion of the move right here, I saw a lot of resistance, a lot of tugs of war happening, and I thought, okay, I'm probably wrong about my target of pre-market high. I don't think we're going to get there. I think 320 might be the top, and so I started planning for a 319 exit. So what I was looking for was a rip up to 320, and if that didn't break immediately, then I was just going to hit the bid at 319 and just ditch it right then and there. And as somewhat well represented by the descending volume profile here, the strength of this move did weaken. And I didn't get greedy. I didn't wait for 319, even though the top was 319. I decided to just take the exit at 317 because I thought that would probably be the top of the move. I didn't really think that we'd have the strength to get through 320. And with no fundamental catalyst, I didn't really have a solid enough reason to hold through a big pullback. So I did just ditch it at 317, got filled okay, no problems there. I was okay with that exit at the time, and looking back now, I'm okay with it as well. Especially given the fact that if we fast forward the chart, we'll see that after another test of 320, it failed. And if I back up and move the chart over here, you'll see that this has done nothing but fail since that bounce off 320. So I feel like my read throughout this trade was pretty good. However, it is worth noting that I did make a good read and I did not act on it. So we're going to talk quickly about that right now. Now, the opportunity came just a few minutes after my exit right here at 8:51. You can see there was a wash coming down off that rip, and then a test right here of $3. And this is where I had a moment of about 3 seconds to come up with a plan, and my brain yelled at me, "Go!" Like enter 500 shares, go. And the reason I didn't do it is because that part of my brain, I knew it at the time. This is the scalp mentality. This is the hyperactive trader that's always talking to me in the back of my head that's saying, go, take these moves. And this wasn't one that I felt was safe enough for my situation now. and so I fought that instinct to get in. And like I said, I only had a few seconds. It was only down to $3 for a few moments. And my thought on this was that there was going to be a snapback almost immediately. I thought it as soon as we broke down below that 310 level where that seller was, or the buyer was rather. I thought, okay, if there's a good hold at $3, I should take an entry right against $3, risking perhaps 3 or 4 cents with heavier share size, so that it's more substantial on a smaller move, and then probably look for a similar exit around 317 to 320. And as it turns out, this ended up working out so perfectly. I mean, it tapped 320, and I would have been able to get that exit, I think, inside of like 45 seconds or maybe a minute. I would have got the resolution that I was looking for. However, even though this would have resolved well, I do feel good about not taking it, because a lot of the problems I've caused for myself so far, even though they are minor problems, they are based on the same thing, which is me struggling with two different kind of trading styles. And the one that I'm trying to avoid is the one that I'm most familiar with. And throughout every single one of my trading days so far, I mean, I'm getting these messages getting thrown at me by my brain all the time like this of, yes, you should take this entry. Go, go, go. Like, this is a scalp opportunity. Go. And I have to ignore those because I can't take the size that makes them a good idea, at least not when the price is moving that quickly. If I can't come up with a plan soon enough, then I generally avoid it. And the notion that I'm thinking about here is a line that I frequently use, which is I'd rather miss a winner than book a loser. And that's really what prevented me from entering here, is that I wasn't prepared for it. And even though I did recognize it as a good opportunity, I didn't think that I could really come up with a well-rounded enough plan soon enough to get in. So I ended up not getting in this one and just ignoring it. And it did resolve well, but I do feel good about not putting myself in an uncomfortable position, at least with so little warning. Like I said, it would have been maybe 2 or 3 seconds that I would have had to come up with a plan, do the math on the risk and all that stuff. And I just couldn't do that, so I left it alone. So I didn't really catch the move that I wanted. I wanted a pre-market high retest. I didn't get it, and I ended up only booking about a 1.1 to 1 risk-reward ratio on this. However, I did read the situation well in the moment. I reacted appropriately to what I saw, and so I'm happy with that. Even though this is a small trade, doesn't really have a huge impact, I am pretty happy with this. And so this is the trade from today, the one that's highlighted there. And this result is fine by me. This day, by the way, is not necessarily closed. This is my result for now. I do expect to be busy for most of the day. I do have some meetings coming up in actually just a few minutes. And so I'm not closed officially. We'll see if I open up my broker again. I did miss something on my watch list right here. LODE made a really nice 5-minute move here. And that may or may not have led to a small scalp had I been around. But again, I really feel good about not having traded or trying to trade in an uncomfortable situation where I'm likely to get interrupted. So I feel like today my approach was very good. I set my alarm earlier. I got up on time. I did all my stuff on time. I worked out. I ate. I showered. I did all the key things on my discipline checklist. And as a result, I think my trade was more or less pretty disciplined, despite the fact that, it's not a very big one. I'm pretty happy with it. And another thing that's, I guess, not really technically noteworthy, but it does affect me mentally, is that I finally broke this 2-and-2 pattern of 2 green days, 2 red days. So even though nothing really noteworthy or all that important happened today, I think that's a good thing, because it feels like lately there's always some huge problem, especially last week. Last week was a nightmare. The weekend was no better. I mean, it looks like today I might finally be done with this nonsense that's going on behind the scenes. But I've said that a couple times already, and it hasn't been. So mainly I'm just looking forward to the point where I can get back to be trading, focused on trading, and not thinking about what's going to happen later in the day and all the stuff I have to do. But anyway, that's going to pretty much do it for this recap, unless I take another trade later in the day, which I don't expect to happen. So until I'm active next time, which I'm not sure when it's going to be, hopefully tomorrow. So until next time, adios, and stay safe.